officially live.
Sure.
Woo! Game time, man. Yo, I'm pumped for this.
Dude, so am I.
Let me hit refresh.
I'm glad we finally managed to make this happen.
Yeah, same, man. Yeah, we went back and forth for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, me too. Let me mute it.
Yeah, let me mute it too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I didn't shoot out live, but honestly, man, I put this in the group and everybody saw it and they were pretty amped to be able to, obviously have this in here. So everybody's hopefully saved it on their calendar, I would assume.
Well, I'm glad that people took time out of their festive period to hop on.
Yeah, I just kind of assume everybody canceled their holiday plans.
yeah, I know that would be the assumption, but I guess for me also, it's currently in Bali. It's actually Christmas Eve, like it's the 24th now because of the 14-hour time difference. So I'm like,
oh shoot, that's right. Yeah, what are you doing out there for Christmas Eve, man?
I'm actually flying back tonight, so that I'm going to be at my mother's house tomorrow at 7 a.m. in the morning. Like I'm flying back just to see my mom for Christmas.
Dang, dude. That's what's up. That's a good son right there.
Little mama's boy at heart.
All right, man. So I am going to shoot this out to everybody because I definitely want to get everyone on right now. So just kind of bear with me here. I'm just like shooting this over. So I feel like we don't really need a huge introduction because I feel like, most people, especially in this group, probably already recognize your name. But we'll just get into it. So Iman Gadzhi, did I say that right, Gadzhi?
Yeah, by the way, I just realized, because this happens with Zoom, sometimes people who don't know my last name, like my full last name, when I have a call with them on Zoom or I'll do live Q&A calls and with the Grow Agency community, they'll see my full last name and like, the fuck is that?
Yeah.
So just Iman or Iman Gadzhi, kind of.
Gadzhi. Whatever. Okay. Saying I pronounced it wrong like 3 times, like amateur hour right now, bro.
Nah, pronounce it whichever way you want it. It's all the same to me.
So yeah, man, we don't need a ton of introductions. So if you guys don't know Iman, basically he swims with sharks. He built the pyramids. Am I missing anything? No, man. But yeah, you tell us about how you want to introduce yourself, and let's kick it off, man.
So yeah, I mean, what can I say? I run 2 companies, now technically a third one, but a company called IG Media. So really simple bread and butter type stuff. We run Facebook advertising for e-commerce and info clients. Worked with some pretty dope clients like Oring, Kevin Rose, AJ Smart, Iconic, Zebra Fuel, Furo Systems, just some really cool companies that we've been super proud to work with. And from my agency, and I've been in the agency space with different variations for the past 3 years. Initially started off with a creative agency, scaled that up, had some frustrations with that. And then from there pivoted to an advertising agency, which is a lot harder than I thought it would be. I thought it was true. I thought you could just become a Facebook ads expert in 30 days. Turns out that's not the case. Yeah, what's up with that? But anyways, so pivoted to an advertising agency. It took me a long time to kind of just get reliable, just consistent client results, streamline the operation. One thing about having an agency, I feel as though a lot of people take all the positives of having an agency, predictable cash flow, incredible margins, high paying retainers. They take all of that, but then they also accept the pitfalls or the downsides, which is communication, operational complexity, all of that stuff. And what I've always tried to do in my agency is kind of look at it and look at every single facet of my agency and just go, how can I mitigate all the downsides? How can I have all the upsides and mitigate all the downsides? So, sometimes I wonder how there isn't German blood in me, because I'm always just thinking in terms of just how can I make this machine just more efficient. So that's kind of my agency. And from my agency spawned a company called Grow Agency, which is my education company, where we teach people who have zero experience whatsoever with business, everything about not only starting an agency, but, understanding P&L, cash flow, understanding accounting, understanding how to sleep better, understanding meditation, systems, structures, understanding, team building, bunch of resources like Cliff Notes. I literally give like 6 pages of like, if you're super tired, you're done with your workday, this is what documentaries to watch to still be productive yet also enjoy yourself. Like I just wanted to make it this full circle approach to learning. So that's that. And the last company is my clothing line, which I probably should have been wearing right now. But
yeah, man, where's the plug?
Oh, dude, send me over your address. I'm gonna send you over a bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, Private Victories is out of stock. But actually, how tall are you? Because we only have XL in stock. I think we have like 5-6 pieces left.
Do I look like an XL, Iman? Is this what kind of joke is this?
I wear an L, and I like my stuff baggy.
Yeah. No, I'm a large. So.
Okay, well, I'll send you an XL anyways. That's all we have left, unfortunately, of the Private Victories.
I'll just like hang it on my wall.
Yeah. Just plaque.
You're gonna autograph it? I'm just gonna hang it on my wall.
Yeah.
Like a jersey. No, that's cool, man. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I've been seeing the clothing line, and first of all, sick launch. So if you guys have not seen his clothing line, go to your YouTube channel. Will be the best place for that, right?
The clothing line, yeah, you can kind of see like the past like 2-3 months have been pretty crazy between like the launch of Agency Incubator, which is like our only program as a part of Grow Your Agency. So we have like kind of the launch video for that. Also launch video for the clothing line, which came out a month ago. And then also some more recent stuff with like Nepal and stuff.
Yo, that's awesome. Yeah, you guys got to check that out. It is slick. So, we were on Instagram. I was joking. I was like, am I going to end up buying like the Gadzhi clothing right now after this? And I was like, am I though?
Send me your address. Send me your address. I'm gonna send it out.
All right, dope. Yeah, I'll get that to you on IG, bro. Yeah, man, that's pretty cool. I'm pumped for that. So I love the idea of like how you encompass your program. So before we get into like, I want to talk about life shit and like a bunch of other stuff too, because I feel like that stuff's not even talked about enough, and what life as an entrepreneur, especially a successful entrepreneur, really actually looks like behind the curtain. So I love talking about that. But dude, big kudos on the way you set up your program. So many people go in and it's literally just like, here's how you set up a Facebook ad. And then here's how you sign a client. And then that's it. And then there's nothing about business whatsoever. And then when people hit like 5 clients, their world collapses.
Yeah.
And then they're up to their neck in work. They don't know how to, like you said, set up the systems and actually be able to mitigate all that extra time, how to buy your time back, because it's not taught. What do you do when you have burnout, right? How are you supposed to grow a separate company? Because you can't do that unless you understand how to set up systems in one company, because then all you have to do is duplicate it. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of agency owners, it feels like golden handcuffs. And that is why I pivoted from having a creative agency to an advertising agency, was because I was 17, kind of like technically my agency journey started August of 2016, which is when I signed my first client for $400 a month. At the time, I didn't know what SMMA was. I didn't know the like about a retainer or this or that. Like I was just like, oh, I'm just servicing a client and they're like paying me a monthly fee, which was foreign to me at that time. And like March of 2017 was when I signed my second sort of proper client, a company called Athlete, which are now rebranded to GenFlow, which is actually a really cool story because they were a client of mine. Now I'm technically a client of theirs because they manage all of the shipping, the handling, all the back end stuff for my clothing line. So now it's kind of like, it's a cool story how I went full circle.
Yeah,
now I'm a client of theirs. But that was kind of the issue I had with having as you mentioned, like having a creative agency. Is as agency owners, it feels like golden handcuffs. It's like, you're so excited, you sign the client, and then you're like, fuck, I actually have to deliver the services.
Right.
This is a nightmare. So that is, as you said, that's the main focus is just like, how can you, I think if you're a business owner, you're just a systems builder. That's literally all you are. I think you're literally just someone who comes in, like engineers, builds the system, stress tests it, removes themselves, kind of like lets that sit there, and then you move on to the next thing and the next thing, and then one thing will blow up, and then you have to rebuild the system at a different, as your business continues to grow. I think that's really what business is. As you said, we'll kind of talk about like what entrepreneurship is. Like entrepreneurship is, I look at it like being a scientist, and also I look at it in terms of like workload. Like a lot of people will look at their work ethic and workload and how much they're taking on kind of like, they'll just go balls to the wall when they first start. And the way I look at it is kind of like the same way you progress in the gym. When you go to the gym, like you don't just go to the gym and deadlift 200 kilos. You go to the gym and you start off with like 60 kilos and you progressively overload. And that's kind of the way you need to build your systems, your habits, and also just the amount of work you're taking on. Like I tell people in Grow Your Agency, I'm like, if this is the first business you've ever had, you should not be doing more than 4 hours of work a day. If you're doing more than 4 hours of work a day, you are doing something wrong, because you need to start off small. You need to progressively overload. So yeah, I think there's a lot to touch on there.
Yeah. And no, dude, that's awesome. And I think a big part of that too, and we see this a lot, because, you know, with the students we work with too, is that there's no clear direction. So even if they are only working 4 hours, which is, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, the most optimal amount of time like a human being can actually work in a day.
I don't think it's the most optimal amount of time. I think you or I could do 5 or 6. And that's the other thing. There's the difference between like deep focused work and other work. Like I view work as like, I have no like my phone is nowhere to be seen. I have no notifications, no email, no nothing. And it's just me. And once again, everyone needs to optimize their working environment. For me, I use something called Brain FM. I've done binaural beats before. I've done sort of like acoustics before. Like Brain FM is just this awesome thing. It's on your computer. You don't have to open up Spotify. Just click it. And it loops different. And they've done a lot of clinical studies on like the best binaural beats. And they've congregated them. It's like a super dope service. Check it out if you haven't. I just turn on brain.fm. It's sick. So I just turn on brain.fm. I have my noise canceling headphones in. I have my incense stick because it helps me get presence in the moment. When I'm present in the moment, like incense sticks, I love them. I burn them first work block of my day because it makes me focus on my breath. Focusing on my breath gets me present. Getting present helps me be focused, and then obviously that helps my work. But the reason I recommend 4 hours is because you or I could do 5 or 6 hours of those blocks where there's no distractions and it's very intensive, mentally intensive work. You or I could do that. The average person can do maybe 1 or 2 hours of that when they first start. You know, think about like people just even reading or meditating. Like how many people can even, if they've never meditated before, you meditate for 10 minutes and it genuinely feels like there's demons in your head. Like I just came back from Nepal for 2 weeks and I came back here and I came here to Bali, and obviously in Nepal, I was so out of routine because we were visiting our projects. I was up in the fucking mountains. There's different wake times. Everything was so out of routine. And I had no time to meditate. I had no privacy. I was with the team. So when I got here, I sit down to meditate, and literally for 10 minutes, it feels like there's fucking like demons in my brain. Like it's nuts. So that's kind of why I say 4 hours, is because I don't think it's the most optimized amount of time. I just think any more than 4 hours and you're being unrealistic with yourself as to what you can accomplish.
Dude, I love that. That's a great clarification. Mm-hmm. So I was actually talking to one of my buddies. Temple Naylor, he does like sales all day long. Yeah. And for me, like, because now we have people on our team doing sales, it's like
he's a beast, by the way.
Yeah, bro. He's crushing the game, right? Yeah. And I'll be in here. I'll get back on the phones again to do some sales. And it's amazing. So I was talking to him. I was like, bro, I can't believe, because I used to do sales all day long. And I was like, it's like my body's not conditioned to be able to handle that many sales calls anymore. Mm-hmm. Or my mind's not, right? Yeah. It's a totally different ballgame to take that many sales calls in a day. So yeah, I agree. Yeah. I like the way that you phrase that. And also I started meditating again this morning, 5 minutes in. I thought I was 30 minutes in.
Yeah, legit.
So dude, that's awesome. I got to ask you, so you're 19, right?
Yeah.
19. Okay. So how exactly does that work for you being 19 and being able to process all of this? Or what shifted for you? What was a pivotal point where you're like, yo, you know what? I think I need to be doing this instead. Like, did you have different mentors, influence? Like, because that's a quick shift. How did that happen so quickly?
Yeah, no, for sure. I had a very blessed upbringing where like it was, it's such a rare upbringing because I lived in this weird purgatory where like I was really, really poor, but I was really, really rich on like, and I'll explain. Basically, like for the first 3 years of my life, I grew up in this place called Dagestan. Are you into MMA?
MMA?
Or like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah.
So you know Khabib, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm same bloodline as him. So like, or my biological father. So like, you can watch like the training chronicles and stuff like that, like him in the mountains. Like I'm from there. Like I'm from a little village in Russia. And my mom, so we grew up in Russia. My mom was 23 when she had me. My biological father was alcoholic abusive, so never met him. So grew up there for the first 3 years of my life. And it's like, because my mom was working 3 jobs, I lived in my grandma's. And like, I'm 3 at this time. Like, I don't like, this was not like a sob story or anything. It was just like my world just completely shifted. Cause I went from like 9 black and white channels. It's no toilet. It's just like one of those Turkish toilet things. So you like walk out at my grandma's, you walk past the chickens and the cows, and then you squat and do your business. So I went from that to London because my mom met my stepdad, and very successful businessman. And then we moved to London, and now I'm like going to private school, 999 color channels. And it's like meant to be like this fairy tale ending. And like, literally it's like, this is the stuff of movies. And within a few years, it very quickly turned out not to be that way. And basically by the time I was 11, 12, 13, 14, by the time I think I was 14, we were on government benefits. So being supported by the government, I mean, like, to be honest, considering the abuse that my mom's gone through, like, I'm surprised that she's still a functioning human. But like, there were points where we were on government benefits. There was points where my mom was working for the NHS, which is like government healthcare, like minimum wage. And by the age of sort of like 9 or 10, like I knew how fucked we were. So it's weird. Like, I feel as though there's something, you need to go through some sort of trauma to grow up that quick. Because the thing is, if I didn't have that pressure, and that's why I'm so lucky, I had that pressure at such a young age that like I had to step up. And by the age of like 7 or 8, I wasn't shielded by things. By the age of 7 or 8, I had this worldview that was like similar to like a 15, 16, 17-year-old. So what was really lucky for me was the fact that as I said, I lived in this weird purgatory where I was going to private school because my stepdad was paying for it, but then he also cut us off. And it was just this very weird thing where he cut us off. So basically it was just me and my mom, even though technically we were still married. And I was going to private school, but we were also government benefits. So like just total, like, just living totally, really in not a good place financially. So what that allowed me to do was I had the hunger, but I also knew that it was possible because I was going to school with like some kids whose parents were like multi-millionaires. Like we had a couple billionaires at the school. So I was like, I knew it was possible. Another cool thing that showed me was I'd be hanging with my friends' parents and they'd be fucking miserable. So like from the age of 12, I saw it with my own eyes. I'm like, oh yeah, money doesn't make you happy. Like money isn't this thing you should put on a pedestal. It's just a byproduct of work and the work you put in. So some of my early mentors were literally just speaking to my friends' parents. Like, what do you do? Like I'd be like 13, 14, having a persistent interest in what they did. Whether that be real estate, whether that be some sort of startup, whether that be some of them were made their money in oil and gas. And that was a big blessing in my life, the fact that I had those two sides. Now, in terms of the business aspect of things, I think by the age of like 11 or 12, I knew that I was like really fucked. And like I had to be the man in the house. It was this weird, like early sense of responsibility. And I even remember being like 13 or 14. By the age of 14 or 13, I knew I wasn't going to university. I told my mom, I was like, and she'd be like, no, you have, in a Russian accent, she'd be like, no, you have to go to university. I'm like, you're not going to pay for it. She's like, of course, I can't pay. I'm like, well, I'm not fucking taking student debt to pay for it.
Yeah.
So initially I remember I was 13 years old and my initial plan to get wealthy was that I wouldn't go to uni. I'd be a real estate agent. And then from there, I'd learn the property market and then I'd become a real estate investor. Didn't really turn out that way. When I was 14, I started flipping Instagram accounts and then I got super into personal training, like fitness. I got super, super healthy myself, started selling my friends' parents like packages at dinner. I don't know how they didn't kick me out. And then that kind of leewayed into photography, videography. I learned photography, videography when I was 16. And it was all freelance sort of stuff. And then it was only once I got that first retainer client where they're like, hey, can you manage this for us on a monthly basis? That opened my mind to, okay, this is like, it opened my mind to the business model. And even my first 4 or 5 clients, I didn't realize that I was doing like SMMA or like I had a social media marketing. I'm just like, oh, I'm offering a service for a monthly fee. that was kind of as simple as it got, or as complex as it got for me.
That's crazy, man. Dude, that's a lot that happened in like, I want to say in only a few years, but honestly, it kind of happened over like since you were like 8 all the way up.
That's the thing. I couldn't, the thing is, I just needed, all I needed was a vehicle that could scale and was sustainable. That was all I needed, because I had been working on myself from the age of 14 to 17. I read a book a week. I used to save my money, and I couldn't afford to go to, there's a place called Waterstones, which the full price books are like 12, 14 pounds. So I used to go to a place on Sunday. It was my Sunday ritual. I go to a place called Brixton Bookmongers. So you could literally get like a book that was like maybe read once, but it's still great condition, for like 2 pounds, 3 pounds. And that's what I would spend all my money on. And I would read a book a week, and I did that for 4 years. And my results that I've had over, obviously, the past 2.5 years have been crazy, but that was a byproduct of all the roots that I built for 4 years. And that's why people like you and I, we don't look at entrepreneurship as like, you need to learn this tactic or this trick. It's like, how can you be a better human? Because how can you be a better human, and how can you be a more optimized human is like 80% of it. And then the last 20% is like, okay, let's find a financial vehicle, and like, let's make sure that we optimize as much as possible. We extract any sort of inefficiencies from it. But 80% of us, for you and I, like both trying to get into the next level, we both know, and we both internalize that like, it's not that we don't know what we need to know in order to get to that next level. It's that like, we know it, but we just don't do it. And that's always comes down to an issue within yourself.
Yeah. I can't remember where I was reading it, where it said mindfulness is opening up the third eye to be able to see what was already in front of you that you didn't see before.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's powerful. And it's true. We talk about a lot in every single weekly team meeting that we have, is that the goal here, even if you guys like leave the nest and do your own thing, like I would encourage you, as long as I know that you became the best version of yourself along the way. Because if you didn't and you still left, then that's when I know I failed you.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I love that philosophy. And I believe that is how you get to the next level, because it's not a matter of the new technique. It's a matter of finding it internal to be able to see it, because it's already in front of you. That's heavy, man. I like that. That's cool. So what did that look like when you were, because I'm super pumped to talk about this stuff outside of business, but this is a great segue into this question. Like, where did you notice in your business when you hit the roadblock that required you to level up? What did you do in order to find that? Because when it comes time to like scale, people hear that word all the fucking time, but I don't think anyone truly understands what it means really for starting out. Because I know when I heard that, I was like, yeah, scale. I bring on more clients, but that's not the way it works. So when you hit that wall and you needed to scale, like, what was the process you went through in order to do that and to build your team?
In terms of scaling, well, the thing is there's a really good video. It's from Bugatti themselves. I recommend everyone watches it. It's basically like, it's a 4-minute video. Like it's really intense, of like how Bugatti, the new Bugatti Chiron, I think it's called, hit the 300 mile per hour barrier. So they hit 300 miles per hour, first car ever in the world to do it. And it's like, it really breaks down how like the difference between, going from 160 to 180 miles per hour, that's one thing. And the difference there is 20 miles per hour. And that is such a different game from going from like 260 to 280. And it's like, okay, like, let me give you an example of my computer, for example. Like I have the spec'd out 2018 MacBook Pro, and this thing has so much power that it can't actually handle it. Like this is the one with the heat throttling issue. I actually just bought the new 16-inch because it crashed on me like on a sales call like twice the other day. I was just so pissed. I just bought the spec'd out new 16-inch. But the issue with this is this has too much power. It can't handle itself, and that's what I feel is most businesses fail, is they have too much power. They can't handle themselves. Like, for example, one of our old clients, Oura Ring, we couldn't scale their advertising campaigns. We couldn't spend more money with them because they physically could not handle it. When I ordered my Oura Ring, it took 8 months to arrive.
Can we stop for a second? One of my clients, Oura Ring. Are we just gonna like say that and just like keep talking?
Sorry.
Yo, that's dope, man.
Yeah. They're a super cool client to have. And that was like the first client where I was like actually a customer of theirs. Like I ordered my ring February of 2018 and they became a client, no, October of 2018. So yeah, obviously I kind of like fanboyed a little when I met Harpreet, the CEO, because I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, bro, it's
but,
Oura Ring.
Yeah. It's like Oura Ring's like now like almost part of the like entrepreneurial like starter kit.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, like when like we couldn't throttle the spend because they like just the Facebook comments were like I ordered my ring 4 months ago. Where the fuck is it? Like we just couldn't throttle the spend because they, you know, the issue was in a different area of their business. And I feel as though a lot of agencies out there can get more clients. It's just they can't handle the service delivery. And that's why you want to, from the beginning, you want to be really diligent. You want to be really diligent in the way you do your reporting, in the way you do your onboarding. Like, for example, my onboarding system, you always want to stress test a part of your business. My onboarding system, I could onboard 10 new clients tomorrow. Not that I would, but I could onboard 10 new clients tomorrow and that system can handle itself. Whereas most people, because my onboarding process is 90 minutes and they onboard themselves, I automated it. Whereas most businesses, or whereas most agencies, like if they had 10 new clients onboarding, they would have to get 10 different passwords. They'd have to have all these different email threads and all this crap, and it would blow up their business. And same thing with service delivery. Like most people, they can't throttle their outreach efforts. Or for those, you know, for example, we run ads on Facebook to my case study, and that's how we get 80% of our clients these days. I would love to throttle my spend, but we can't handle it in terms of service delivery. So if most people are hearing the word scale, look at the thing as an agency specific, the thing I look at is your operations and then also your service delivery. Service delivery is really going to be the main killer for most people. Like, could you handle 5 new clients in the next 30 to 60 days? And if the answer is yes, and sometimes I get it where like there will be people who have a full-time media buyer, or for example, there's a couple of couples, or quite a few couples in my program, and you know, one handles the sales, one handles the service delivery, and they're on 4 or 5 clients, but they could handle maybe 8 or 9. And with them, I tell them, okay, go full steam ahead. The thing that you should be throttling, the thing you should be putting the gas on is your outreach. Be doing more outreach. If you're not running ads, and for some people they're at 10, 20, 25K a month with their agency, I recommend start running cold ads and know your numbers. And that's in my opinion, the best way to get clients long-term.
That's awesome. So how big would you say that you had your team when you were, you know, hitting that 25K a month, when you started to make that move, that pivot? Like, how many people did you have?
So to this day, I still only have 1 and a third team members. I have Danny who's full-time, and Danny can handle, we've pushed Danny. I think Danny gets stressed at like 10 clients. Like that's the max we've ever had. And he's kind of comfortable, but we obviously we can bring in maximum amount of revenue around 8 clients. And then we have Kieran. So Kieran is actually my product manager for a Grow Agency. He is almost like basically like just under me in terms of the company. But Kieran is the best copywriter I've ever met in my entire life, which really pains me to say, but because he writes all of our client ad copy, and you know, he's a total beast. But so Kieran writes all of the copy, and Danny runs all of the ads, manages the campaigns, reporting, et cetera, and both of them manage the clients together. But when I was making $25,000 a month, I had no full-time employees. I just had contractors. So I had Danny at the time, and a lot of people will, as they're looking to scale up, they think they need a media buyer and a copywriter. In my opinion, if you have a media buyer, they should be writing all the copy for the clients. Unless you have a very unique case like me, where I already have a full-time employee who's an incredible copywriter. Like Kieran sold a screenplay to Netflix. Like he's incredible. When I brought him on full-time a year ago, he didn't know what a webinar was. So it took a long time to kind of teach him the like marketing lingo. But he's incredible. But before, Danny would write all the client ads, all the client copy, and he would run all the ads. And I believe the media buyer should be writing the ads because they just have a pulse on the market. So I think if you're at $25,000 a month and you have an advertising agency, the caveat to this, if you have an advertising agency, it's different if you have a content creation agency, whatever. I genuinely believe you can have just a contractor. Or potentially at that point, it might be worth it to bring them on. Like with Danny, I was paying him per month per client. And when I brought on, in 1 month, I brought on Oura Ring, which was a 5-figure plus retainer. I brought on another client, which is Iconic, which is 6,800 pounds, $8,500. I brought on like $30,000 in business in 1 month. So I was like, okay, it just makes sense to bring Danny on full time. So I think you can get to 25,000 a month with just one team member easily.
Nice. That's rock solid. And that's consulting, right? Like in an agency business.
No, that's done for you. Like we would do done for you ads for our clients.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. I think a lot of people would definitely like need to hear that, know where that roof is at. That's awesome, man. I know when I was like, I think I hit 12,500 a month running e-commerce ads. Or I think it was like on 4 clients and retainer wise. And that's whenever I was like, I was trying to run them myself and communicate them with them myself and like still try to sell. And I was like, that's when I knew I hit my roof because, you know, the market told me that I could just sell clients and make a living doing social media marketing and travel the world and everything. And turns out you need more than just yourself.
Yeah.
to do that. And that was like 60 days in. So I was like, oh, this business thing is easy. And turns out that's not the case. So
yeah, it's one of those scenarios that I mentioned, which is golden handcuffs. Like you could sell, you could bring on new clients, but you had these golden handcuffs restricting you, which was like, okay, now I actually have to service the clients and deal with communication and deal with humans. Like at the end of the day, I look at everything in agency and I'm trying to almost productize an agency, which at the day it's not, it's a service, but I dehumanize things a lot. And sometimes I have to remind myself, I'm like, oh no, I'm actually dealing with humans. So yeah, as you said, like, you know, it's not as simple as just like sell some clients and then like throw up some posts for them and you're good. It's like you're running a real business, dealing with other humans.
Yeah, dude, that's great insight, man. And I like how you said dealing with other humans. Like sometimes we forget that they're just humans. And you know, we do that too with like even going to approach a business. Like a lot of people see titles.
Yeah.
And yes, I don't know about you when you first started, but like when I first started, I thought I was too young, which you're younger than me. So I kind of wonder what your take on that was. Like I thought I was too young.
I don't know. Like, first of all, most of the time just clients don't ask how old I am. Yeah, I don't. I think for me it was a roadblock more when I was like 17, because it was like at that point I'm like okay, I actually am young. But once I hit 18, I was like, I'm an adult, it's fine. But the thing is, a lot of time I actually found this is more with the initial sort of clients I serviced. Now I service e-commerce info product clients, but initially I serviced. I had like my first proper clients were a company called I said Athlete Genflow, and they had their Series A, Series B round of funding, and then like Furo Systems, Zebra Fuel. And the funny thing is, I think they almost found it endearing that I was young. They were like, oh yeah, he's young. Like he's a young marketing whiz kid. Because you can always flip things and make it if you're older, you're like, yeah, I'm 55. I've been in this game a long time. I've seen, I've been in this, or I've been in business a long time, or, I have a lot of life experience with this. Whereas if you're young, you're like, I'm young. Like I grew up with this. Like I understand the DNA of social better than anyone with like a marketing degree at like 40, 45, who's still trying to do billboard ads or trying to, get a spread in Vogue.
Yeah, no, hands down, man. That's a good explanation of that. So dude, I want to talk about some stuff outside of business. I want to talk about life. Like, what does that look like? So what does that look like for you? So we know that so right now you're in Bali, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm over here next to my Nintendo 64, trying to rearrange my living room.
I'm going to ask you what that was.
Yeah. No, that for sure is an N64. Super Smash Bros. You're not living unless you have it. Anyway, so what's that like for you, man? Like, what's life outside of business for Iman?
Yeah, so life outside of business, like right now I'm in Bali, which is just like so cliche. But like literally the only reason I'm in Bali right now was because I was in Nepal. And I decided not to renew the lease on my place. So technically I don't have a home right now. So I was like, okay, either I could go back to London and spend like $300-400 a night on like a 2-bedroom in like central London, Airbnb. I was like, I just come to Bali and spend like $200 a night on like this, a beautiful, beautiful villa. And I'm already so close. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll just come to Bali for 2 weeks and work out here.
You're a nomad in Bali.
Yeah, I know. So that's the other thing. Like for me, because I'm young, and I think like, we're both super young. So what I want to do is I've tried pushing the extremes of different ways of living. Like I've tried the digital nomad lifestyle, not for me. I've tried the work 16-hour days, and like work 12, 16-hour days, only focus on business. And like I did that for a bit, and like I kind of lost myself. Like from January to May of this year, I don't think there was a more optimized human on earth than me. Like it was nuts. Like I was like, now I enjoy a glass of red wine, but like, I would no touching alcohol, no touch, like honestly, the devil would be like blue light before bed. Like I would honestly, like it would give me so much anxiety if I even like looked at my phone without like, and the phone already has like the night shift feature, and I have Flux on my computer, et cetera, et cetera. But like I even got like hue light systems set up throughout my entire house so I could have only red lights before I slept. Like if I saw like a TV or something like without blue light blockers, it would be like, like it'd be like light the vampire. But yeah, exactly. But my point is like life outside of work for me is trying a bunch of different things. I've also like kind of like June of this year, I went through 5 months of like letting my hair down, and like I still grew the business, but like I went and partied a fuck ton, and like I kind of enjoyed the wealth that I've accumulated at my age. So outside of life, I'm just trying to test the extremes, and that way I can be 100% confident in the way that I want to live life. And kind of like my happy place is I like being in London. I like being in my optimized workspace. I like working, I like waking up early. I like going to the gym, meditating, getting to work, doing, working from probably like 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. I don't want to work after 6 p.m. I just don't think I need to. I don't want to be working from 9 to 9. There's certain times where that's the case. Like last night I ended up working until like 11 p.m. Not ideal. I don't want to do that. So outside of life, I'm just kind of pushing the extremes in a bunch of different ways of living life. Because the last thing I want is to be blindsided. And I feel as though there's a lot of people, even in our space, who are so focused on money. And hey, I love money, and like I want to make as much of it as I possibly can. But they're so focused on money and being so optimized, kind of like I was at the beginning of this year, that I feel as though they're going to get to a point where they're like 35 and they've never had any fun. And then that's when you get like people going through like midlife crises and shit like that. Like I want to be like 35 and like look at like Insta stories of like people in like the club or something like that and be like, cool, like I've done that. Like that's, like that's okay. Or like see people like living life in Bali and like, cool, I've done that. Like it's not that great.
Yeah. No, dude, that's awesome. And that's great realization, especially because you can speak from experience in that. And it's funny because I just like, so I went and put an offer in on a house last weekend. I never bought a house.
I saw that like on your story today.
Oh shit, dude. Just wait. I'll shoot you a text of it. I'll shoot you a text.
Okay.
But anyway, so it's something that I've always been afraid to do because of commitment, like having a problem with commitment. And, but I was like, you know what? Cause I traveled like all last year and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to put an offer on this. I'm going to pull a trigger on it. And it's cause I realized that, there was like, this is the time to do that. And I traveled and I forgot like what I really wanted, what my roots were. And I was like, you know what, this is what I like. My kids, the house, stuff like that. So.
I think that's so important, as I said, because we always think that the grass is greener. And I think there's a parallel between like money won't make you happy. It's like, that is the ultimate truth in life. Like money won't make you happy, but I think you have to go through that paradigm to understand it. And you have to like let money trick you enough times. Like at this point, like I know like literally money won't, because I'm like, no, like this has happened before. Like I thought like, oh, I'll buy this thing. And like, I'm not to say that my life will be complete, but I'll be pretty happy when I get it. Or like, I'll be happy a month later, but like you get tricked enough times. And I think that gives you such context, and it's a parallel to what we're saying about like getting so much life experience. So last year, you traveling so much, it's like you've done that. So now you can sit at your home and not look at other people's lives and think that the grass is greener because you're like, cool, I've been there, I've done that. Like, I know what that's like. This is the life I really do want.
Dude, that's what's great about these interviews, man. And that's why I love doing these, especially with people that are like getting shit done. You know what I mean? Like yourself, because like we don't just have to talk about business. Like the life stuff is what people aren't talking about.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, if you have any comments, we've had like 50 people sitting on this live for the last hour. So if you guys have any comments, like put them below. Obviously Iman's on now. He can answer them. If you have, any questions for either of us, like put them in there now. If you're watching this on YouTube later on, go ahead and put them in the comments below. And I'll personally go in there. And Iman, if you want to swing over to the page and answer people, because it'll probably be a lot for you.
Yeah.
We'll answer those. So we'll get ready to do that. I didn't even realize we've been on here like as long as we have. Yeah, man, it's been fun to talk to you because like I said, you're getting shit done. I don't know if there's anyone in the game right now at the point you're at the age you're at. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I'm sure there are. Honestly, I'm sure there are. Like, it's so funny. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's so fun to like hang out with just really high level people, like such as like it's genuinely is an honor to meet you. Like I've heard, as I mentioned before, like I know that someone is good when I've consistently heard good stuff about them from other people, like heard from 10, 15, 20 people, like really like just tons of words of admiration and whatnot before I even meet the person. Then I know that they're really solid. So even just like talking to you, like it's just, you think that you're a certain level, you meet someone else, and like even just talking to you, like the way you carry yourself, and like I feel I've always said that I think you can kind of just look in someone's eyes and know how solid they are and like how grounded they are and how much life experience they've gone through. So yeah, back to your point, like is there anyone in my age? To be honest, I think there's probably like dozens and dozens. Like I just don't know of them. Like you always think you're doing well, and then you realize that there's people like killing it tenfold.
Well, damn it, Iman. 10 out of 10 humble answer, bro. Great. Nice job. Is that what like scripted out? No, that's cool, man. I appreciate that, dude. And likewise, man. Like I said, it's been cool to like watch everyone come up. And I've talked to a lot of people where they're just like, a lot of people thought that, there's so many people come into this space that aren't really real. So it's hard to know like who's going to do really well. So I really appreciate the way that you hear that stuff, you listen to it, you watch for it. So that's cool.
That's something that you see like a lot. There's definitely a churn rate. There's definitely quite a high churn rate of people who come into space, and then like within like 1 or 2 years, it's just like they're gone.
Yeah. And it's funny because we bring that up a lot now, because I'm like, yo, guys, I'm 2 years in and we've only like doubled in business. Like I'm not fucking going anywhere. But yeah, no, that's really cool, man. And yeah. So is there anything else that you'd like want to share with people, or like where can they find you?
Find me YouTube, just Iman, IMAN, and then last name Gadzhi, Gadzhi, and like I just kind of have everything on there. I'm a pretty open book.
That's awesome, man. And by the way, if you guys are watching this, you don't actually have to spell out the whole last name, just the letters that he gave you.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. I appreciate you jumping on here. And like I said, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of questions that come down below, which we can answer later.
Awesome. So the questions on the Facebook, should I respond on the Facebook group, and the YouTube ones I'll respond on YouTube?
Yeah, that'd be perfect, man. If you have time to swing in. Guys, if you actually want to tag Iman in the Facebook group, because if you don't, then he probably won't see it.
Yeah, perfect. I'll set aside some.
That's perfect, man. Yeah, so we'll tag him there. And yeah, bro, I guess that's really it. Like this live has been fucking awesome. I hope people took a lot from the experience. So
starting a podcast next year, which I never thought I'd do. So we'd love to have you on.
Oh God, you are an entrepreneur, bro.
I know, officially. I'm gonna put Wi-Fi money in my bio next.
Oh no. So anyway, remember that time we were friends like 10 seconds ago? So side note, what watch are we wearing?
Funnily enough, right now, this is my out of all my watches. I know that you wanted to see the Richard Mille that's in the other room, but this is my favorite watch at the moment. My Timex Snoopy.
Oh shoot, man! What a novelty.
Dude, look, it's dark. Boom, done. Oh, what time is it? You're in the cinema? No worries, I got you.
Oh shoot! For a second, I was gonna be like, "Wow, Snoopy," but then you did the thing with the light in your hands, and then I was like, "Okay, this guy's got it made." Oh, dude, that's cool, man. All right, well, guys, we're gonna tune out. It's been an hour. This has been awesome. So again, guys, go to Iman's YouTube page. Subscribe if you haven't. It's weird if you're not. And then also show some love on the Facebook group live. Like it, drop a comment, let us know where you're from or any questions for Iman. And same thing with YouTube. Like the video, because if you don't, you're probably, you become a better person when you like and subscribe on my channel. I think that's like how that works. A dolphin gets saved. Not exactly sure about the second thing, but take the chance. So, all right. I'll see you guys later. We're going to cut the live.